Welcome, everybody, to High Bang Fury, the podcast slash Zoomcast, courtesy of Skyview Sports. I'm Roy Akers, and I have two outstanding guests today. Bob Francis, our old friend from GoFullThrottle.net, is with us. And, of course, the track president at Darlington Motor Speedway, we have Josh Harris. Welcome to you both, fellas.
Great to be here, Roy.
Thank you, Roy. Glad to be back on with you guys again.
Yeah, it's always outstanding to have you both on here. Well, everybody, we're going to dive right into this matter. Darlington will host on Labor Day weekend this upcoming season in about a month, maybe a little bit longer than that. What is the state of the Darlington race? We can hardly wait. That's that's peanut butter and jelly coming to Darlington on Labor Day.
That's right. Full of tradition and history. It's the Cookout Southern 500 on Labor Day weekend, a staple on the schedule, a staple part of our history and tradition in NASCAR, and one of those crown jewel events. And you add the jelly in the middle of being the opening round of the chase, with the chase format returning this year, not only in the Cup Series but also in the NASCAR O'Reilly Series. So the excitement level is ramping up every day we get closer and closer.
Well, I love Josh's perspective because it being race one in the chase and the return to the chase this year really does set a new tone, Roy. And I think I'm hearing from fans all over the place about just the excitement that's building. And especially if you are Austin Cindric, who currently sits on the bubble trying to be in that top 16 and qualify for the chase. These upcoming races are really going to be pressure-packed. Which is going to lead to the crescendo of who's in and who's out, who's racing for a championship there at Darlington Raceway with race one in the chase. So super exciting next couple of weeks.
And with that, Darlington, with all the history, last week I had a couple questions on kissing the bricks that I had with Kyle Larson, and I didn't tell you guys this, but Kyle Larson, I asked him, I said, should it only be NASCAR drivers that kiss the bricks, their crew chiefs and the people on their team? Or should they open it to media, Indianapolis tours and all that? And this is what he had to say about that.
Well, as a competitor, as speaking from the competitor side, like when I've come here as a fan and whatever, I would never kiss the bricks. Even if I was to win an O'Reilly race, I wouldn't kiss the bricks. So nothing against that series or anything. It's just, in my opinion, like it's meant for Indy 500 and Brickyard 400. And then I would say, I don't care if media members or fans or whatever do on, I don't even know what a tour looks like, but I'm not kissing the bricks unless I win a.
So Kyle Larson is a traditionalist. He does not like anybody but NASCAR drivers and their teams doing that. He says he's not taking offense to it, but has anybody ever approached you, Josh, on kissing the Darlington stripe?
That would be a new one. I don't know that I've had anybody, want to kiss that stripe. Now, I've had some people, say they'd like to get out there and run fast enough and up close to the wall enough in somebody else's car to maybe get their own Darlington stripe. But no kissing here. The only thing that's going to be kissing the walls and will be those stock cars going around here in a little over a month.
It's funny. One of my fondest memories in NASCAR wasn't at Darlington. It was at Michigan because I am from Michigan. And watching Richard Petty just drive inches all the way around the track, he doing that like somebody could dunk a basketball, and watching the drivers go around your track, no matter how good they are, at one point or another, that stripe, the lady in black is going to get them.
That's right. It's everybody's gonna get up there and earn a stripe, or two throughout 500 miles around this place, and the best of them have done it. But that's where the most speed is. And that's, it's always a fine line. That's why I appreciate guys like Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick and others today. And they're willing to go up there and test that boundary, test that limit. And you talk about a guy like Cale Yarborough. There's a really cool video out there on YouTube from when Cale was going around this track and kind of giving you the step by step where the line is, and just seeing him wheel that car back then is such a cool piece of history that we still have today.
We're reading a NASCAR book. We had H.A. Branham, Josh, give us a book back at Talladega this year, and I've actually read most of the book. And watching, I don't know, as much as Cale Yarborough was awesome, and I watched him. I watched David Pearson and all them because I started going to racing like 1969, and they were all there. And but you take a look, David Pearson, I don't know if anybody has ever been better at Darlington.
Well, all-time wins leader here for sure. And when you think about the success that Pearson had, but there's another name that maybe flies a little under the radar when you think about the all-time wins. When you go across series, our good friend Mark Martin actually has the most National Series wins here. When you think about what is now the O'Reilly Series, his Cup Series wins, and then if you add the IROC Series to it as well, Mark is our all-time wins leader, which is something I don't think anybody would get right off the top of their head.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me, Josh, because Mark, now in his elder statesman role, is spending a lot of time at the dirt tracks, and all the drivers that we just named, Larson, Reddick, those that are known to go up there and have that right rear fender touch that wall, have that dirt track background. They're used to finding the cushion and being able to navigate that and use the air between them and the wall. So I think it makes perfect sense. I love the Mark Martin history because it really brings all of us together as the sport.
Yeah, it makes me feel good when I hear Josh and you talk about some of these all-time great names in NASCAR history. It just energizes me about your race. Real quick, your race is very traditional. We're going to kind of prime the pump so that people that are on the fence about buying tickets to come out to Darlington, what are 2 or 3 highlights, Josh, so that people go, you know what, I'm not missing it this year, or I haven't been there in a couple of years. I got to go back.
Hey, that's right. For one, we've already said it's a crown jewel event. There's only a handful of those on the schedule every year. When you step into Darlington Raceway, it's like stepping into Wrigley Field or Fenway Park or Lambeau Field if you're a football or baseball fan. And then to watch these guys battle out over 500 miles, it's truly a test of man and machine versus this track. So it's a place you don't want to miss. We're going to have a full day of activities. I would say one little thing that may be flying under the radar for fans is the start time this year. We're moving up to 5 o'clock, so we're still going to get a nice sunset view and finish under the lights. But we're going to get you out of here an hour earlier than normal, so you make that travel either back to your hotel, back to your hometown after the race. We got Labor Day holiday on Monday, so we want everybody to be here. It's typically a sellout crowd, so don't miss out on an opportunity to win.
Yeah, Bob, final word before we take our break.
Fans are going to have an absolutely great time. I mean, I think we think back just a week or so ago, and you had Corey Heim winning one of the other races often considered a crown jewel at Indianapolis. So I think that's something to really be excited about this year with Josh and Darlington is, yes, we know who the favorites are. Yes, we know it'll be the first race in the chase, but boy, have we seen some young talent put their names on the board this year with a Corey Heim, with a Carson Hocevar. So I really look forward to that battle between some of our seasoned veterans the Denny Hamlins of the world that are controlling the points, but these young guns coming up should make for another exciting race at Darlington this year.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be back in 30, and Bob talked about the magic name of Corey Heim, as we're going to talk about him and the potential rivalry with Carson Hocevar, and that happens in 30. This is Roy J. Akers for the High Bank Fury podcast. We are found multiple times weekly, where we talk to NASCAR drivers, cover stories, and those that shape the sport. This is not just another podcast. We get exclusive content, talk fantasy NASCAR racing, and spill the news before other media outlets drop their take. We are on all podcast channels, the YouTube channel, and can be found on skyviewsports.net. Check out High Bank Fury, the podcast, today. With us on High Bank Fury, the Zoomcast, we have Bob Francis of GoFullThrottle.net, and we also have Darlington Motor Speedway President Josh Harris, who comes on. And I like both of you because you're like me. We're all history majors in NASCAR. And I don't know what university gives out that degree, but we've all got an honorary one. That there is for sure. Over Carson Hocevar's making a lot of news. I know a few weeks ago he made the Time Magazine 100 Most Influential People in Sports, which kind of surprised me. When I talked to Denny Hamlin about that last week when I was at Indy, he said he wasn't surprised at all. And but this has turned into a big rivalry with Corey Heim, and it looks like both of them are willing to bring their shotguns loaded with and the double barrel. What says you?
Yeah, Roy, I think it's great for our sport to see these two young drivers that not only have the talent on the track, but they've got a little bit of personality off of it. They're not afraid to back down from one another. And I think it's an early preview into the next 20 to 25 years in our sport, and who's going to be part of carrying that banner and winning a lot of races. If you go back just a couple of years ago, the background of Bob, you got Phoenix Raceway and that Truck Series championship race, and kind of we didn't really maybe know at the time what it was going to start, but here we are a couple of years later. Corey's getting out there and winning big races, going through and around Carson to do it a little bit, and Carson's not backing down. So I'm excited the fact that Corey's running a limited schedule, and Darlington Raceway and the Southern 500 are on his schedule here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, super exciting for the fans, Roy and Josh, just because as Josh said, we need this as a sport. We need those personalities that are not afraid to speak their mind and have a little controversy and some strong, maybe a little rubbing fenders when they're on track. That's what the fans love. That's what the fans go to the races. They're going to go to Darlington. They're going to go to our other NASCAR events because, yes, they want to see a good hard racing, but not from bland personalities. And this is just great for the sport. And, I think many of us, especially in the media, were wondering, okay, Denny Hamlin, when are you going to make the announcement? Corey Heim, obviously super talented, but why the limited schedule? Why are we still playing around in the Truck Series? This kid is so strong in the Cup car. Let's go. So I think the tide changed, and I think that also you saw that response from Hocevar. Okay, all right, now it's on. Now it's really on with Heim coming full time next season with 2311.
And with that, we have the punch and the counter punch, as those two had quotes after the Brickyard 400 race. And we have their short quotes, and they come right now.
Carson, it looked like as you and Heim had a lot of interesting battles in stage 2. You told him he was number 1 in stage 2, but just walk me through that situation if you have any comment.
Yeah, I knew he was going to win, so I just told him he was number 1 to congratulate him early.
That's a good question. I'm not too sure. I was blocking him, not really too bad, I thought. I mean, I was trying to just hold my position, and I never threw like a bad block. I was just trying to protect my entry, and he didn't like it, but he lost and I won, so I don't really care.
You heard Corey Heim, you heard Carson Hocevar, and you know the thing I find, fellas, is that Carson Hocevar, he's a skinny little guy. I don't think he could win a fight against a wet paper napkin, but he's willing to take on everybody in the sport. Doesn't really care. He has a talent. I was at Echo Park earlier this year, and he was at will just doing crossovers and being extremely safe with that. And Corey Heim, he doesn't take any crap. And what I found very interesting was a quote by Jeff Gordon. When I talked to Jeff Gordon last week at the Brickyard, he said, this rivalry is going to go as long as these drivers are winning. He says as long as they win, they're going to be relevant. And Corey Heim has obviously won 2 races in his spare time, being part-time. And Carson Hocevar, he won at Talladega, another race I was at this year. And hopefully they will both get in the winner's circle because like you guys both said, this is a rivalry that will bring eyeballs to the sport for a long, long period of time. What says you?
Yeah, I can't agree more, Roy. I think, you know, and then you take a step back and you add in some of the other, you know, young drivers having some success this year. A guy like Ty Gibbs, you know, added to that mix. I think that's another one that's going to be part of this, you know, on-track rivalry, and we'll see how it develops off the track. But you said a key part there. They're not just a couple of guys out, you know, talking a lot back and forth on social media or in the media. They're going out there and they're competing for wins against each other on the track in the Cup Series. And I think Jeff's spot on there with his viewpoint that, you know, as long as they're competitive and winning races and mixing it up front, that's what really makes some of the best rivalries in the history of our sport when you look across 77 years in NASCAR. So as a track promoter, as a fan of our sport, I'm certainly looking forward to these guys continuing to build their foundation and be the future of our sport.
And Roy, there's the other Corey that's not in the Cup Series yet. But boy, I can't wait till Corey Day, who we cover on the sprint car side. I mean, the guy tears it up and just came off multiple wins with High Limit Racing in his sprint car. And we've seen him dish it out in the O'Reilly Series. Still under development, great talent, obviously identified by Larson and Jeff Gordon and Jeff Andrews. So just wait for that Corey to join the other Corey and Carson Hocevar. The 3 of those young guns battling week after week. Oh, the future looks bright for NASCAR competition.
Well, the fans of our show, you have been in for a treat. Josh Harris, the president of Darlington Motor Speedway. We talk the history. We talk why you should buy tickets. Bob Francis of GoFullThrottle.net, a longtime NASCAR coverage reporter. But the final word goes to you, Mr. Harris. How can people buy tickets and find out more? And I'll have B-roll so we can direct them to your site.
That's right, Roy. The simplest way, everybody's got one of these devices that they're carrying around. So get on darlingtonraceway.com. It's all the information there is about the Cookout Southern 500, the whole weekend, all the activities on and off the track. So darlingtonraceway.com. If you want to talk to one of our representatives, give us a call at 866-459-RACE. And then if you're in the Darlington area, stop by the ticket office Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We've got some friendly faces ready to help you get the best seats in the house.
Bob, how do we find out where we can read and see you on video?
Well, just stop by GoFullThrottle.net on the internet and Bob Full Throttle on X. That's where all the activity takes place. And looking forward to the next few races as we close out the regular season. And then we'll see Josh and our friends at Darlington for race 1 of the Chase.
All right, I'm Roy Akers of Skyview Sports, skyviewsports.net, also the host of High Bank Fury. You can also catch us on our YouTube channel where we have all of these. That's where they all live, all our videos, all our interviews. And coming up in the next couple weeks, we have Larry McReynolds. We also have, there's a couple. We have Doug Turnbull coming on, and also we have Lee Diffie of NBC Sports, all coming on in the next few weeks. And you guys have primed the pump for them. Until next time, everybody, thank you, and we'll see you at the checkered flag.
tricky. Getting into turn 3, lift up high, fighting the car all the time.